Keg Master Solstice is more than just a fridge. It's a kegerator, and it does more than just cooling. It does warming as well. It comes in various sizes. There's even Keg Master Solstice Mini, but the Keg Master Original and the 365, the bigger version that does two 50-liter kegs, are these two behind me here now. So we're going to go through today on some of the more common questions that people would ask about Keg Master Solstice. Sometimes we get questions about the freezing and temperature settings for it. Sometimes we'll get questions about just simply setting the temperature on the controller for it. There's also loads of questions that we get sometimes about the fan and the operation of the font fan inside the fridge. Some people are also asking questions about the finish of the fridge and its stainless steel finish for the outside of it, how to maintain that and make it look great all the time. So of course, we have the two versions behind me today. This is the original Solstice, which holds one 50-liter keg and a 20-liter keg and the gas cylinder, or a variety of other keg varieties. And this is the Keg Master Solstice 365. This is in its canopy form for a kiosk setup. So if you wanted to rent this and take it out, it will just fold up and you can set up shop wherever you are outdoors, and you can start serving beverages just like this. So the heart of your Keg Master Solstice is the cassette. It provides the heating and the cooling to the actual kegerator itself. So the cassette is removable with these 6 bolts that are located on the side, so it can be maintained or replaced. So the settings are all through the controller that's on the cassette. So if you need to change the temperature, this is where you're going to be doing that. And if you need to change any of the other parameters, the manual will help you decide how you can set to get the best performance out of your Keg Master Solstice. Currently, this Solstice is reading somewhere around 20 degrees because that's the ambient temperature in our showroom, and we've just turned it on. So the inside isn't quite cool yet, but this will be going down as we're talking because the kegerator is set to a cooling mode. So setting to cooling or warming mode is all done through the RST button on the side. It will switch over to either or when you hold down the button. You're going to select what temperature by using the arrow buttons to go up and down and find the temperature that you'd like to rest at. So for most beer and, say, beverage services, we're looking for a temperature of around 2 degrees. However, some people will notice with the performance of this fridge in some locations that they're not getting below 16 degrees. Somewhere between 9 and 16 is a freezing point with the cassette. And this just really kind of depends on where you're located and where you've got your Solstice located within your environment. So sometimes it will freeze, and one of the problems is that it will bring itself down, but it won't be able to go below that. That's because it's actually frozen inside. So 9 to 16 degrees, somewhere stuck in there, is a really good indication that the cassette is frozen. Now, luckily, because you have more than just a kegerator here in the Solstice, you have a warming device inside, and you can hold down the RST button and take it up to about 20 degrees. In the time that it takes for it to move up to 20 degrees, the thawing process will have happened and the whole system will repair itself. And then you can set it back down to go down to the temperature around 2 degrees to keep your kegs nice and cool still. That whole process takes probably about 2 hours in total, and that will also evaporate the ice, reset the system, and you can go back down and get lower than that 9 to 16 degrees where it gets stuck sometimes. So let's change a temperature really quickly. Right now we're set at 20, we're not set at 21. The probe is reading that the inside of this kegerator is at 21. So to change the temperature, you're just going to hold down the set button until the set light appears. So right now we are set to 2 degrees and we are in cooling mode. It's also set to set mode still because the red light underneath the set is on. So we could change this up or down. Sorry if my fingers are in the way of this, but we can change this up or down to set the temperature that we want to hold. In this case, we're going to keep 2 degrees. Once you have the 2 degrees, to go back to the main screen, just set and hold the reset button for like a second like that, and we'll go back to what the actual temperature inside the fridge is at the moment. So the probe inside the fridge, because we've only just turned this kegerator on, is still reading that the inside of our fridge is at 21.5 degrees. This is your font fan tube. Every Keg Master Solstice has one. Every Keg Master kegerator at Keg King has a font fan tube. So with some models of kegerators, you can choose how fast you're running your fan. But with some, like the Solstices, the fan's on all the time automatically. You don't need to set it, it will always be on, but this tube needs to be plugged into the cassette and running up into the font. The reason the font needs to stay cold is because your beverage lines are running outside of the fridge. Especially when you're not serving drinks, the beverages that are sitting in the beverage line will probably get warm, meaning that the front part of your pour is going to foam up a bit. So if you use your font fan tube, it will be cooling the inside of your font, returning the cold air back down into the fridge. So your Keg Master Solstice has a stainless steel bench top and a stainless steel finish to the door. Now it's real stainless steel 304 material, so if you have this in an outdoor area, and especially if that outdoor area is subject to, say, salty air from, say, living near the beach, then you might want to keep an eye on the finish just to make sure you don't wind up with tiny deposits of rust. If you do, it's really simple to take care of. So I would recommend getting some of our Atomic 15 foaming sanitizer. This is a phosphoric acid sanitizer. So all you have to do is put a little bit onto a soft cloth just like this one, and making sure that you're using gloves when you do this. Apply a small bit to the area where there might be the rust deposit or some other corrosion. Allow it to sit for about an hour undiluted, and then come back and rinse that off with water, again making sure to wear gloves. So that will lift the corrosion off and get rid of it. Then afterwards, if you want to, you can use items like Mr. Sheen or even some car waxes to be able to bring the finish and the shine back up on those stainless steel surfaces. It'll make them look really shiny and really great, and also help them to become a bit hydrophobic so that it will actually run water and bead water off the surfaces. So this will help preserve the finish of your Keg Master Solstice fridge, which is more than just a fridge. So with Keg Master Solstice, some people like to put them under bench. So a question that we get a lot is, how do I attach the font to the kegerator? So we have a solution for that, and we have had it for quite a while now, the Telescopic font adapter. So if you're planning on getting one of these fridges, or if you already have one and you want to put it under bench, you can easily attach the kegerator to the font and put the font on top of a bar top or a countertop, however you like. So if you're going to move this, we still need that cold air from the font fan to go up into it and return back down into the fridge. The Telescopic font adapter provides the ability to do exactly that. Plus, it gives you a little template for how to drill for the top of it. So if you're going into a wooden bench top, it's super easy. If it's stone or marble, you can use this template as well for drilling. So you know exactly where to put the holes for the screws and for all the lines that are going to go through your bench top. The font adapter itself will give you up to 120 mils of extra space between the kegerator and your bench top. So if you're planning on using any of these under bench or any kegerator under bench, make sure that you have a way for that cold air to keep your taps cold and return back down into the kegerator. The Telescopic font adapter is exactly the piece of equipment you need to make that connection. So this is your Keg Master Solstice. There are the big versions, medium versions, there's mini versions. They do heating, they do cooling, they're 12 volt, but they still work just about in any household, anywhere where you decide to set it up. Keg Master Solstice. It's more than just a kegerator, and thanks for watching.